So I finally bought a new rental property. This is actually a first of a kind for me. I've done some short-term rental as far as doing the arbitrage situation, but it wasn't really anything. I was just kind of testing it out. But I haven't ever really bought a property exclusively to use a short-term rental, but I did. I just closed on it on Monday, and it's a pretty nice property. It's big. It's a lodge. So it's in Branson, Missouri. It was about a little over $1 million, and it is a 8-bedroom place. It's pretty big. So the idea is to rent this out as a short-term rental, and then there's some huge benefits with doing this as a short-term rental as well. So one of the big ones is a tax benefit here, because I can use the bonus depreciation. So what I can do is essentially do an accelerated depreciation on the property by getting what's called a cost segregation study, where they look at it and they say, okay, how much of this property, the structure, can be depreciated in a shorter time frame, and then there's this bonus depreciation that you can take. And long story short, it will knock off maybe about $130,000 of my income this year. So it'll be maybe something like $50,000-$60,000 of tax savings that I would pay to the federal government. So pretty good, not bad, right? To get paid on that, right? So I put about $100,000 down, so I get half my money back in the first year. Not too shabby, right? The money I would have paid to the government. So that was kind of the idea behind this property, right? And it's a short-term rental, so there's some interesting rules that apply in terms of, normally you can't take a long-term rental and depreciate it against your normal income, but with a short-term rental you can, because it's treated as active income like a business. So pretty cool. But yeah, and the other thing about this deal was it's a creative financing type of deal. So in this case, I only had to put 10% down, but it was owner finance, a wrap on an existing mortgage. And so we did what's called a contract for deed, which is a long-term sales contract. If you're not familiar with any of this stuff, it's all right, but I'll try to explain it to you. Basically, what it means is that I don't actually have the deed for the property yet, but it's signed over to me in escrow when I complete making the payments on the property. So for all intents and purposes, I own the property. I can sell it. I can do what I want with it, for the most part, and I'm responsible for it. I just don't actually get the deed until it doesn't get recorded until I pay it off, right? So, and there's some reasons for doing that. It's a wraparound mortgage. There's an existing mortgage in place in this case, and so a lot of mortgages would have a due on sale clause, right? So if the bank, if you sell the property, the bank wants their money back, right? So this isn't due on sale. It's not really sold in the sense that it hasn't been recorded, so there's no record that I own this property, right? Aside from this deed that says that I will own the property, essentially. That's kind of the way to think about it. But for all intents and purposes, right? I own it. I can sell it. I can benefit from it, and rent it out, obviously, and take the income. So that's kind of the plan there. So it's pretty interesting. And then it's a 5-year balloon note. So what that means is that in 5 years, I've got to either refinance or pay off the loan, right? Do something with it or extend the financing on it. It's a really low interest rate, like 4.1%. So, really good deal. Should cash flow really well. So, like I said, first of my kind of doing this kind of a deal here, and I'm happy with it so far. We'll see. It'll take some time to ramp this thing up, but I've been wanting to get some more deals done here, and it's nice to add $1 million property to the portfolio. Because remember, the thing with real estate, what you're really trying to do more than anything else is you're trying to acquire as much value of real estate as possible, because the more that you're holding on to, right, then you're benefiting from that appreciation, right? So as real estate goes up, let's say that real estate goes up 10%, if you have $100 million property, you just made $100,000. That's pretty good, right? It's like owning $1 million worth of stock, and then that stock goes up some percentage, right? That's kind of the idea. And so, you can imagine if you had $100 million worth of real estate that you were controlling. Again, you don't have to have $100 million. You can control that with $10 million or less than that, perhaps. There's different ways of doing that. But if you had $100 million and it went up 10%, you're making $10 million. That's pretty good. You know, with inflation also, you benefit from that as well, because inflation will increase your worth as well. You know, even though you might say, well, the money's worth less, it doesn't matter because you're leveraged, right? If you're leveraged, then you're benefiting from inflation in that case. You know, real estate is the best hedge against inflation. So, but yeah, should add maybe about $1,500, $2,000 a month positive cash flow on the deal, which is a pretty good, you know, cash on cash return, looking at 15-20% if you're familiar with the numbers on that. If not, it just basically means, you know, when you whatever money you put into this deal, you know, what is your immediate return on a yearly basis of it? So, you know, 15% is approximate, right? It might be a little bit more than that, which is good, right? That's good, because that's just the cash on cash return. You're still going to have an IRR, or irrespective rate of return, right? Which just means that at the end of the deal, when you exit this deal, what did you net, and what would that be as a percentage of growth if it was compounded? Right, so what would your interest rate would have been, you know, your return rate been every single year? That's how you can figure that. So the IRR might be, you know, astronomical on a deal like this, right? There's also opportunity. It's a big enough piece of property. It's zoned so that I could actually put another unit on there, which would be cool, and I'll probably do that. Could also make a really good wedding venue as well. So there's always, you know, a lot of ways to do real estate stuff. So yeah, anyway, I thought, you know, some of you guys are probably interested in hearing about that. Also, if you're interested in starting to do this kind of stuff, do some real estate deals, you know, maybe some of this stuff went over your head, that's fine, but if you can learn this stuff, it's not that hard, right, when you got someone to show you. But I've got a few slots in my Wealth That Never Runs Dry financial freedom program where, you know, I go over this, I help you do this, right? I literally help you, step you through it, and, you know, get you property that you can be confident in, you know, make the right decision, learn how to do this so you can do this in the future, become wealthy. Same thing with business. You want to start a business, especially if you want to do a content-based business, great. I can definitely help you with that, and that's what we do. So yeah, if you're interested, you know, you can email me, john@bulldogmindset.com, let me know, and I'll get you on a call with one of my guys from the team that will see if it's a good fit, and kind of explain to you how it works, and if that goes good, then you can talk to me directly, and we'll get going with it. But yeah, you know, been a while since I did a real estate deal, so feeling good about this deal. Gonna want to do some more deals here. I forgot how exciting it is to do a real estate deal. It's just awesome, you know, when once you get the deal together, and you know, just everything works out. There's a lot of little moving pieces there, but I found a lot of good ways to streamline this. And yeah, if you're not familiar again with real estate, definitely, you know, shoot me an email. Let's get you on a call and we can explain it, because best investment by far. You know, I get 30, 40%, 50% returns on my money every year in real estate, because, you know, it's just, you can't beat it. You know, you can't beat it, because the thing is, you're able to borrow money and leverage that money and leverage that appreciation. Plus you get cash flow from it as well. So it's just, yeah, the risk is so small if you do things right, which I do them very conservatively. Yeah, it's really not difficult at all to pull together. I'm amazed, you know, I'm amazed that everyone does not do it. I really am, because you should be. If you're sitting here right now, you're watching this video, you know, in your 20s, your 30s, maybe your 40s, man, you're missing it. If you're not figuring out a way to invest in real estate right now, I'm telling you. I was just talking to one of my friends, and we were talking about real estate deals, and, you know, and stuff, and and about, you know, people making bad deals, and I was like, yeah. The thing is, 20 years later, nobody has made a bad deal. Like, it really doesn't matter. Like, if you literally know nothing about real estate and you just buy property, as long as you can maintain the payments on the property, which means, you know, you got to at least have the math somewhat right. But even if you overpaid for it, even if it was an investment, or what the market went against you, interest rate, any of those bad things, in 20 years, it's always the best investment that you would ever make. That's unless you bought Nvidia stock, you know, back then in Bitcoin. But, you know, as far as a solid investment, that's how it is. So yeah, if you're interested, like I said, shoot me an email. No pressure on it though, because I'm just gonna keep on doing my deals. And yeah, I'm doing it, I think, on LinkedIn too. I haven't talked about that. Maybe I'll do another video talking about how I'm doing kind of cold lead sourcing on LinkedIn to scale my business. But yeah, there you go.